Welcome to everyone to Sauce Time Gaming. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video, and today we're going to cover the changes that happened in Season 3 Reloaded, specifically to the long range meta with the AS-44, NZ-41, and Nikita AVT, which is one of the most recent assault rifles added to the game. And we're going to look at the changes that happened to the recoil patterns for these weapons and if those changes place them a little bit in a more comfortable spot within the long range meta. So we're going to go ahead and look at the before and after for these recoil patterns, and I'll leave the link to each of the recoil breakdown episodes for these weapons up top as you see the testing. Now for the AS-44 we tested the 50, 60, and 40 round magazine builds, which are all a little bit different, so if you're interested in the AS-44 go ahead and check that out. For the NZ-41 we're looking at the 50 round mag here, and for the Nikita AVT we're looking at the formerly known 55 round mag, which is now the 60 round mag, and the recoil pattern for that there. Again, video links up top for each of these. Now when we're talking about the changes that happened in the Season 3 Reloaded patch notes for these weapons, the AS-44 reduced its initial recoil slightly, the Nikita adjusted the recoil pattern for ease of use, and the NZ-41 adjusted the recoil pattern and intensity when used in fully automatic, and this applies even to the burst barrel, which you can actually set into automatic mode. And with those changes, these weapons have, and I can't say with certainty, been able to access the long range meta way more effectively. The AS-44 is pretty much a slight buff to it. It was already rather good. You still have to practice with it to be able to master it, but it was already pretty good. In the case of the NZ-41, the recoil pattern overall was just reduced, so it doesn't kick up as intensely as before, which is fantastic, and now you're able to control a little more of a consistent pattern. And for the Nikita, they reduced that initial curve, which was really what was throwing everyone off whenever you were trying to engage a long range fight. And now it's pretty much a slim version of it. It still has a little bit of a curvature, very similar to a lot of Cold War weapons, but now it's way more controllable and will give you way more success. So let's go ahead and talk about the builds, the best builds for these currently, and which quote-unquote meta attachments you don't want to be using on some of these builds. So talking about the AS-44 here, I'm going to be focusing on the 50 round mag because this one just feels like the most consistent of the three versions. The 40 round mag is definitely harder to use, and the 60 round mag has a bit more of a challenge as well, but this one, I think if you take advantage of it, you can enjoy the AS-44 for longer range engagement. So we're running the MX silencer, the Kovalevskaya 615mm barrel. For the underbarrel, the original build for this magazine size, the 50 round, was the bipod because it gave a smoother horizontal recoil pattern. But with this change to the initial recoil, you can run the Carver on the M1941, maybe even other attachments. I haven't fully tested each one of these with the change, but I did notice, at least visually, that the M1941 at least did look smoother when covering that recoil pattern. So you can give it a try if you want. I'm still going to be running the bipod because it gives a rather easy to control recoil pattern, and if you crouch and prone, you're getting an even better benefit from it. So of course the 50 round mag for this one, we're running lengthened, although the AS-44 did get a little bit of an increase to the bullet velocity. Lengthened will still help with that bullet registration. Stippled grip tape is definitely here on the grip category. You don't want to use a polymer, which people love to say for each and every single weapon, but for the AS-44 you still want to be running the stippled grip. The initial buff that the weapon received was not enough for you to not use the stippled grip tape because it'll still give you quite a big gap between those first and 6 bullets. So definitely keep running the stippled grip tape on this build. I'm running sleight of hand here. You can try other things if you want, gung ho, disable maybe, but I just like sleight of hand to get that faster reload because you do burn through ammo because it's only 50 and the fire rate here is insane. Fully loaded, you can also run on hand, which seemed to not be working with that aim down sight speed buff before, but now they fixed it, so more power to you there. But fully loaded here, ZAC 12A. This one is specifically the best one for the 50 round. Again, the video link I left earlier is going to give you all details on why that is the case, and then whatever optic you want to run. I like the G16 2.5X. Now, when we talk about the NZ-41, we're running the, for the muzzle department, I actually tested that the MX silencer was part of the original build. You can also run the Mercury. It'll just increase your vertical a little bit more, but Either one of those are good options. I'm running the MX Silence, so it just gave a more consistent pattern. Orb Weaver 360mm BC. The Lore Mark 1 burst, you can also change it to fully auto. It gives you more damage range, which you don't get from the Orb Weaver, but the recoil pattern, I couldn't find a consistent version of it, so for now I'm sticking to the Orb Weaver 360mm until I can run more tests on this. Carver foregrip was the best for this build specifically. Again, covered in the video. Lengthened for that extra bullet registry. Rubber grip, which is weird, but this was the best grip for the NZ41. Again, it was covered in the video. Discard for that faster reload when I've emptied the mag. Fully loaded Lore Mark 3 SC, whatever optic you want, which I was actually testing the 3 to 6X. And it was pretty good actually, so I might be transitioning to that. I was using a 3.5X before, but with this build specifically, we tested the 50 round mag because we wanted to compare it to the originally tested on the recoil breakdown episode. But this one does give you a good recoil pattern that you can control, but I felt that it was way more consistent, and it seems that you get a little bit more damage range and damage with this magazine anyway, with the 40 round, the 8mm Clouser 40 round max. So I'm going to be running this one. I tried it already in game. You're going to see the gameplay as well as the video goes on, but this 40 round mag felt fantastic, felt way more consistent. The extra bullet velocity as well that they gave it, the NZ41, feels fantastic as well. And this card just helps when I empty the mag to reload extremely quickly. So this would be the NZ41 best long range build. And finally, when we talk about the Nikita AVT, the best build here, again covered in the recoil breakdown episode, is the MX Silencer, the Empress 613mm BFA barrel, Carver foregrip, lengthened for extra bullet registry, polymer grip, and this one was the better one. Although further testing, I feel I want to run on this weapon overall. But for now, this felt very consistent as I was trying it in game. Sleight of hand felt fantastic to reload a little bit quicker. You can try a lot of other great options. Perfectionist didn't feel like it did enough for it to really add any value. So I'm running sleight of hand currently. You can by all means try any other of these options. Icy Veins, I used this on the STG in the past and it felt great. So maybe giving it a try and using it in game could be beneficial, but I'd have to run testing it. It requires more than just me to do it in any case. On hand for extra aim down sight speed, Empress Notch was the best one for this weapon. Whatever sight you prefer, I'll just put the 2.5X. And for the magazine, in the testing, we ran the 60 round drum because, well, that was what was covered and gave the best recoil pattern in the recoil breakdown episode. But I was using the 50 round mag in game, and this one felt fantastic. It felt, because you're not losing damage range and bullet velocity, this one felt consistent. It felt like you were able to down people at range, and it didn't really have a terrible recoil pattern. It had a pretty good one, pretty consistent one to control. So I'm running the 50 round here. This build right now, and based on the testing that I did in game, felt fantastic, even with the extra 300 health, which is always great to listen to. But with that, these are the 3 best Season 3 Reloaded updated recoil pattern weapon builds. That was a pretty long name. There were of course many other changes to all weapons across the board actually, which is pretty crazy, but I do want to talk about a couple of, I guess, honorable mentions that will be crawling into the meta, I think, very soon. For example, the bar received a headshot damage multiplier from 1.5 up to 1.85 and received a ton of different magazine size increases. If you like the bar and you're interested in a diversity of builds for the bar, I have a video I'll go ahead and link up top you can click on that. I talk about 4 different builds for the bar, one with low fire rate, medium fire rate, and high fire rate, so you can check those out if you'd like. I would truly appreciate your support on them as well, but I hope more than anything that you get value out of those videos because it took quite a while to build. But we also had changes on the M1916, which is a weapon that I talked about on the video linked up here, and it's incredibly broken as a marksman rifle for close range. I have a close range and long range build for it. I haven't been able to properly test it because they didn't fix the bullet registry situation, but you can check out the video. This weapon is absolutely insane and not enough people are talking about it. And many other changes to a lot of Cold War, Modern Warfare weapons that a lot of people were not really satisfied about. But overall, I think with the quality of life changes and the gameplay changes. I really love Season 3 Reloaded. I would love to know what you think. Do you think that these 3 weapons I talked about in this video are now long range worthy? Did you like the Season 3 Reloaded update? Do you have any other thoughts about the weapon changes that happened in Cold War and Modern Warfare? Let me know all those thoughts in the comment section down below. But I truly appreciate you for clicking on today's video. And thank you so much for sticking around to this point of it. If you did enjoy it, click that like button down below, recommend it to a friend, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the regulars for Sauce Time Gaming. And with nothing else left to say, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and through it all, I hope you always remember. Sauce Time Gaming.